Good morning. How are you all doing today? I can't see your responses if you're typing something in, but I hope everybody's doing okay. Um, if you have some props that you want to use, please have them nearby, like a blanket, some pillows. If you have blocks or books that you can use instead of blocks, or water bottles, or toilet rolls, those sort of things are really helpful. We'll do a little bit, just keep it sort of gentle and slow, and do a bit down into the hips and into the bum. Um, Maybe do a few twisting things, a few side bendy things, but also, you know, keeping it a little bit strong, just to keep a bit of strength in the body, because it's really easy to lose strength if we don't practice it regularly. So we'll start laying down. So if you can all start laying down, please, and have your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. And just take a few breaths on your backs. Maybe let yourself calm down from whatever you've done this morning, if it's exercise or just maybe just waking up might have been a bit breathtaking. Who knows? Whatever your day entailed so far, just let yourself forget about that and just arrive here and now. And then start to hug your right knee in toward your chest. And just let it squeeze in. Slowly squeeze a little bit more with each breath. But while you do that, try to keep the back of that bum cheek, the sacrum, your low back, against the mat. Make some circles with your ankle, your lifted ankle. Then circle it the other way. Come back to center. Then straighten your right leg up to the air and grab the back of your right thigh and push your thigh into your hands until your arms become straight as they can be and your leg becomes as straight as it can be. Rather than pulling your leg with your hands, have the same amount of pull as you do push. So push your arm and legs against each other. So you get that nice resistance in all directions. If you imagine your leg is one big post rather than a series of bones, from the bottom, actually the top rather, from the top of your thigh bone, rotate your right leg to the right. So if you imagine your toes, if you dorsiflex your foot, imagine your toes are pointing at 12 o'clock. When it's straight, rotate from the thigh until your toes are at 2 o'clock-ish. And then maybe pull a little bit more toward your chest. Your leg may need to bend, but that changes the sensation of that opening. Notice how it changes. And then start to bend that knee and place your ankle on your left thigh. Keep that dorsiflexion, so don't let your top leg become lazy. And then maybe that's enough for you, or maybe you place your foot on a pillow or on a block, or maybe you can even grab your left thigh with your hands. Try to keep your sacrum reaching down as you pull your legs toward your chest. And then as you pull your left leg toward your chest, try to reach your right knee away from your right shoulder. And that'll deepen the sensation a little bit more. Slowly place your left foot back down. Keep your ankle crossed at your knee, and then lower your legs. So I quite like to grab onto the ankle with the opposite hand, and then lower your legs to the left so your knee points up to the ceiling, and then reach your right arm away from your legs. And from that top hip corner, the hip corner of your right leg, roll it away from your right armpit, as if you're trying to increase that distance from hip to armpit. Take 3 more breaths like this. Bring your arm back to center and help yourself to come back up through center, coming back onto your back. Uncross your legs. Place your right foot down, knee bent. Hug your left knee into your chest and just let it be nice and soft. Hug in. Keep your sacrum reaching down so you're not pressing the low back in. And that'll help keep the sides of your waist nice and long, but it'll also increase the depth of that hip that's flexed up toward your chest. And then start to reach your left leg up to the air and clasp the back of your left leg with your hands. And then as much as you pull the leg toward you, push against your hands with your leg. And try to keep the top of that thigh bone reaching away from you and down into the mat. Start to turn your left leg from the thigh bone toward the left until your foot is pointing at 10 o'clock. And now cross your left ankle over your right knee. Keep that dorsiflexion in the ankle. And then bring your right foot to a pillow, a block, to the sofa or bed, or just clasp the back of your right thigh. And then reach your hip creases away from your armpits. Lengthen the front of your belly. Place your right foot back down. Grab a hold of your right ankle with your, grab a hold of your left ankle with your right hand. And then roll your legs over to the right. Let your right foot come to the ground, your left foot come to the ground and your knee points up. And then reach your left arm away from your legs and roll your hip crease and the top of your thigh away from your armpit on the left side. Take 2 more breaths like this. Slowly come back up through center. Uncross your ankle from your knee and then hug both knees in toward your chest. And then place your feet back down and bring your arms out to a cactus shape, or sort of looks like. Don't shoot. And then let your upper arms be on the ground, your elbows on the ground, your shoulder blades on the ground. And then just reach your arms up as high as they can be. They can go into a Y shape or an H shape, just depending on your shoulder mobility. And then start to keep your forearms on the ground, but bend your elbows and bring your elbows down as best as you can. Inhale to reach your arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows down. So we're working a little bit into the shoulders here. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows and pull them down. One more inhale to reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows and bring them down. And then come back to a midpoint, so your elbows are sort of in line with your shoulders, with your forearms up like a cactus. And then start to rotate to bring your forearms up and around. And your hands may come to the ground. They might not. Mine only go this far. And just rotate back and forth. So your knuckles come to the ground and palms up. And then from the elbows and the shoulders, rotate your arm down. And take 3 more breaths like this. So rotate cactus and cactus down. Cactus up. Cactus down. Come back up and then open your elbows out, open your arms out and sweep your arms down like you're making a snow angel. Reach your arms out and up. You might get in the way of some things, and exhale your arms down. Snow angel, your arms on the ground. 2 more, inhale and exhale. 1 more, inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale down. And then roll onto your right side into the fetal position. And then start to just bring your knees apart and together. So keep the arch side of your feet, the big toe edge of each foot glued together like a hinge. And then open up and close. Open up the knees. So some call this the clamshell. I don't really like that term. 1 more inhale to open. And exhale to close. And then turn and roll back onto the other side. I'm going to swing around so you can see me still. And then with your right leg coming up, inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. 1 more inhale. And exhale. And then press yourself up to a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, your knees apart. Don't worry, Amy, we're not putting your fingers on our toes yet. Hold on to your feet with your hands and just fold forward a little bit. It doesn't matter how far you go forward. And if you find that you're really struggling to fold forward, grab a pillow or a blanket and sit on that, and that gives your hips a little bit more space. And then you might find a little bit more of a fold. Start to roll yourself back up. Bring your legs out nice and wide as they can go. You might need to turn. And then roll your pubic bone forward. And then round your back. So it's like a wide-legged cat-cow. Roll forward as you inhale, and then exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And then come forward once again, and then fold forward as much as you can. Maybe bring your forearms to a pillow or to blocks or just to the ground, or maybe you can fold all the way down. This can be quite intense, especially if you are a runner, or if you've just been a bit more sedentary or walking a lot more for your daily exercise. It gets into the adductors, the inner leg, and those can be quite tight. And there's a lot of little tiny muscles in that area that can shorten up and tighten up, and we forget about exercising them. So take another 2 breaths here. One more. Roll yourself back up to seated. And cross your legs. Bring your right shin in front of your left. Take a deep breath in. Reach your arms up. And as you exhale, twist to the right. So your left hand comes to your right knee and your right hand back behind you. Try to keep your spine nice and vertical. And twist your torso around that vertical spine. Inhale, lengthen to the spine, and exhale, twist your right shoulder blade back a little bit more. Inhale to unwind, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, twist the other way. Inhale to unwind, bring your arms all the way up, and exhale to fold forward over your crossed legs. And as you're folding forward over your crossed legs, reach your arms forward, grip them forward a little bit more. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. And then bring your hands back a little ways, about halfway, and roll onto your knees. And if that doesn't work, just bring your legs out to the side to come into this, and step back to a downward facing dog. Pedal out your dog. Come forward into hands and knees. Take 3 breaths of cat-cow. Inhale to lower your belly. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, lower your belly. Cow pose. Exhale, cat. Round your spine, gaze between your thighs. 1 more, inhale. Cow. Exhale to cat. Tuck your toes under, reach your legs back into a plank pose. Take a deep breath in here. And then come forward, place your knees down if you need to, and come all the way to your bellies. Untuck your toes, and then pull your chest through, forward and up into a cobra pose. Keep your pelvis down, keep your toes reaching down. 1 more breath in here. And then exhale back to a child's pose. Take a deep breath in here, and exhale it completely. And then inhale up to hands and knees. Exhale to a downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Good. Start to walk your feet forward to meet your thumbs. Standing forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reach your arms out and up. Good. And then exhale your hands down behind your low back. Take an inhale and lift your heart up. Bend your knees, stick your bum back, and exhale, fold forward, reach your knuckles overhead. Release your hands down to the ground. Lift up halfway. Fold forward. Keep your left hand on the ground. Straighten your right leg and inhale, reach your right arm up and twist up to the sky with your right hand. Twist to the right with your torso. Hold for one more breath. Try to stretch your arms as wide apart as they can be. And then try to reach your right hip up to your right hand for one more. Inhale. Exhale your right hand down. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Bend your right knee. Keep your right fingers down and then inhale your left hand up. Twist to the left. Straighten your left leg and try to reach your left hip up to your hand, but your hand is reaching so high to the ceiling you can't quite get it. One more inhale. And then exhale your left hand back down. Lengthen again. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Step back to the top of a push-up. Plank pose. Place your knees down if you need to. Chaturanga. Come to your belly. Untuck your toes. And then push your pelvis down. Come to a cobra pose. Elbows back, shoulders down. Exhale to a child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step through to seated, or if you're feeling sprightly this morning, hop through to a cross leg or a seat, and then widen your legs once again. And then I quite like to actually hold my inner thighs doing the seated cat-cow. So inhale into cow with wide legs, and exhale round to cat. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. Inhale, cow, and fold forward, exhale. Maybe you're getting a little bit further each time. A little bit more depth in this forward fold this time. Two more breaths here. One more breath. Start to press yourself back upright. Cross your legs, left shin in front of right shin this time. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up, and exhale, twist to the left. Keep that vertical length reaching up from the spine. Exhale to twist your left shoulder blade back a little bit more. Nice and long. On your inhale, unravel, reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale, twist the other way. Right hand behind you, left hand to your left knee. Inhale to unravel and reach your arms up. And then exhale, fold forward over your crossed legs. Keep yourself folding forward. Reach your tailbone down as much as your arms reach forward. Reach your pubic bone down then as well, until it feels like somebody's pulling your bum back and your hands are reaching away from that pull. Bring your hands back halfway. Either sweep your legs around to one side or roll forward onto your knees and then step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank pose. Hold for a breath. And then on your next exhale, lower down. Knees first if you need to, chaturanga. Come to your belly, untuck your toes, pubic bone press down into the mat. Inhale to a cobra. Maybe your cobra's getting a bit bigger each time. And then exhale, child's pose. Inhale up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under and exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your right foot forward to your right thumb now, and then place your left knee down. And untuck your left toes. Reach your arms up. And before we move the up arms, squeeze your legs toward each other like you're trying to drag your left knee forward. And as you drag your left knee forward, pull your pubic bone forward and up. And take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, pull your arms back like we did on the floor earlier. Forearms slide back against an imaginary wall. Inhale, slide your arms up. Exhale, slide your forearms down. One more inhale, slide them up. Exhale, slide them down. Bring your hands down around your front foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank pose. Hold for a breath. Try to wrap your armpits toward each other so you're squeezing your shoulders down your back. And then exhale, place your knees out if you need to. Come down to your bellies, untuck your toes, push your pubic bone down. Inhale to a cobra, lift your chest forward and up. Breathe into your armpits. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Reach your top of your thigh bones up and back. And then step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Place your right knee down. Untuck your right toes. Reach your arms up. And then imagine dragging your right foot forward to your left heel. Drag your pubic bone forward and up so your low belly tones slightly. And take a deep breath in, reach your arms up, and as you exhale, then slide your forearms down an imaginary wall. Let your elbows bend down and back. Inhale to slide them back up, just like we did on the floor, just like the other side. Exhale, slide them down. Inhale, slide them up. Exhale, slide them down. Bring your hands down around your front foot. Pick up your back knee. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. Push your pubic bone down. Reach your elbows back toward your heels. Exhale, child's pose. Hips to heels. Reach your arms forward. Inhale, hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. And then turn your left heel down. Sweep your arms around, come up to warrior two, and then reach your right knee back toward the pinky side of your right foot, the pinky toe side. Good, take 2 breaths here. One more breath. And then sweep your arms down around your front foot. Pick up your back heel. And now, place your left hand down to the ground. And with your right hand, turn your right toes 90 degrees to the right. So they're perpendicular to how they were. And then with your back heel, turn it down so your toes are all pointing in the same direction. So it's like you're in a side plank with your left side. And you're in a weird lunge with your right side. And then, you can keep your hands on the ground if that's suiting you. Try not to let your knee drop down on that back leg. So keep it as strong as you can. Really dig in through the pinky side of that back foot. And then maybe reach your right arm up to the sky. And then squeeze your inner thighs toward each other. And that's really going to get into that right butt cheek. Reach up. Squeeze your inner thighs. Take one more breath in here. And then exhale your right hand back down. Pivot your toes back to face the front of your mat. And step back to a downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Turn your right toes down. Then come up to warrior two. Bend your left knee and reach it back toward the pinky side of your left foot. Press down through the pinky side of your right foot. And hold here for 2 more breaths. One more breath. And sweep your arms down around your front foot. Pivot your back heel up. With your left hand, pivot your left toes to the left. Step your right hand to the right so you can lean into it. And then let your back heel come down so you're on the pinky side of your back foot. Squeeze your inner thighs together so your left hip reaches over top of your right hip as much as it can. And then maybe reach your left hand up to the sky. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Squeeze your arms apart. Squeeze your arms apart, stretch your arms apart. One more breath here. And then bring your left hand back down, pivot your toes back to face the front. Step back to a downward facing dog. Take 2 more breaths here in your down dog. Inhale to lift your heels, gaze forward, and either step or float through to a seated position. And then widen your legs once again. And now this time, bring your left heel in toward your groin. Keep your right leg extended. And now, I'd like you to try to push out. So I'm going to actually move back a bit so you can see my right foot. Push out through that back foot so your heel is reaching out, and then pull your kneecap up so your thigh muscles are really engaged, all those quads are really engaged, and you may even get a little bit of a lift out of that right heel. Your kneecap might push down more. We're really working on the extension of that right leg. And then take a deep breath in here. Keep that extension as much as you can. And exhale to fold forward. Keep that extension as much as you can. So keep that leg reaching out and up. Two more breaths. One more breath. Lift your chest up. Turn towards your right leg that's deeply extended. And exhale to fold toward it. And now you can use a sock to grab around your foot, or a strap if you have one, or a belt, or a bathrobe belt, or just grab your foot. And by pulling on the ball of your foot, you can actually exaggerate that extended feeling. Let your heel reach forward more, or away from you rather more, until you feel like there's a really big straightening happening in that knee. Take one more breath in. Exhale it completely. And then slowly come back up. Come back to center. Swap legs. Bring your left leg out. Bring your right heel in. And then reach out through that left heel. Pull your kneecaps down. So as you dorsiflex, as you pull those toes toward your chest, you're really dorsiflexing, and that might engage the quad muscles, the thigh muscles more, and your shin muscles as well, until your leg, your knee, is really extended. Keep that extension, keep that engagement in the leg, and see if you can get that lift in the heel, or even if it just feels like it's lifting. And then take a deep breath in and fold forward as much as you can. I can't go as far on this side as I can on the other side, apparently. I've just found out. And now it's really easy to forget about that straight leg when you're doing this, so try not to. Try to keep some attention on that leg. Start to come back up. Turn toward your straight leg. Keep it engaged, and then fold toward it. Hands around your shin. Maybe use a strap or a sock, or grab your foot if you have it. Really pull on the ball of your foot rather than the arch. Pull on the ball of your foot, and you can really feel that extension more. And if you pull from the inside arm, so in this case, the arm that's closest to me, or your right arm, if you're going the same way as me, that can help engage the twist a bit more. Slowly come back up. Cross your legs, or extend your legs, or sweep your legs around to come back into a downward facing dog. Inhale to lift up yourself forward to a plank pose. Exhale to chaturanga. Come to your bellies if you'd like to. Inhale to a cobra pose, or push all the way up to an upward facing dog. But as you come to the up dog, try to really, really press all of your toes through the mat. And then straighten your legs as much as you can. And then exhale all the way through to a downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat to a standing forward fold. Lift up halfway. Fold forward. Roll yourselves up to standing. Pull your shoulders onto your back. And spread your toes. Have your feet underneath you. And shift your weight to your left foot. Bring your right knee up to your chest. And then grab a hold of your right knee with your left hand. And then start to reach your right hand back. And twist your torso to the right. Try to keep pushing down with your standing foot and push up with the crown of your head. So your spine is nice and vertical. And see if you can think about having your shoulders over your ribs, over your hips, but they're twisted. Slowly bring your arm and gaze back through center. Place your right foot back down. Swap sides. I'm going to turn this way. Spread your toes, stand into your right foot. Hug your left knee into your chest. And grab a hold of your left knee with your right hand. And then slowly start to reach your left hand back behind you. Push down with your right leg. Push up with your head. Stack your ears over your shoulders, over your ribs, over your hips. Take one more breath. Slowly bring your arms back to center. Place your left foot back down, or drop it. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward. You may want to have blocks or toilet roll or something near you. Lift up halfway. Fold forward. Step your left leg back to the back of your mat. And then flatten your left foot like warrior one leg. So your heels are either in line with each other or slightly wider apart from each other. And then take your left hand to your block. Start to straighten your right leg. So try to keep your torso the same way as it is. And then just pull from your right outer hip back until your legs are straight. And try to keep your hips level and as if your hip points can point forward evenly. So your hip points are parallel to the front of your mat. And now push down with your left hand and start to reach up with your right. And you may be able to lower your block as you do this. You may not want to. You may not feel the space today. That's okay. Take one more breath in here. And then exhale your right hand back down. Move your block out of the way. Pivot your back heel up. Bend into your front knee. Deepen your pelvis. And then slide your back foot forward. Step your right leg back. Take your block under your right hand. And now imagine there's a string pulling your left outer hip corner. Keep your keep your shoulders sort of as they are, as best as you can. And then that string is just pulling that outer hip corner up and back until your front leg straightens. Turn your left heel down for warrior one legs. Pull that left outer hip corner back more so you feel that pivot to keep your hips parallel to the front of your mat. And then reach down with your right hand, push it into the block, pivot your left hand up and reach it up as you twist toward your left straight leg. Try to stack your shoulders over each other. And then keep your ribs drawing inward and up toward your shoulders. And then pull your neck away from your shoulders so your neck is nice and long. You can look up or look down, whatever feels best for your neck and your shoulders today. Take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, bring your left hand back down. Move your block. Frame your foot with your hands. Pivot your back heel up. Bend into your left knee. Deepen your pelvis so you really get that nice and deep bend. And then slide your right foot forward, standing forward fold. Lift up halfway. Fold forward. Walk your feet back to a downward facing dog. Inhale forward to the top of a push-up. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to a child's pose. Knees down, hips onto your heels. Walk your hands forward. Tent your fingertips, and with tented fingertips, walk your hands over to the right. Stretch down through the left side of your body. Inhale your hands back through center. Crawl them all the way to the left. And stretch open the right side of your body. Walk your hands back through center. Flatten your palms. Pull yourself back up and into a downward facing dog. And then one more time, step, jump, or float through to a seated position. Inhale to lift your heels. Gaze forward. Bend your knees at the bottom of your exhale. Bring your legs through. Maybe your feet stumble on the ground like mine do. Who knows? Now with your legs straight out in front of you, maybe sitting on a pillow, maybe not. Take your right knee and cross it over your left straight leg. And then with your right hand, grab, this is my left leg. With your right hand, grab your left leg and bring your heel toward your hips so your knees start to stack. And you can do halfway cow face legs, or you can go the full way and lean to the right and bring your right leg underneath you so your knees are stacked and bent, so your hips are out to the side. Sorry, your heels are out to the side of your hips. I do know how to speak, I swear. Whichever version you're in. If your leg is straight, try to keep that awareness of that straight bottom leg, like we did in those forward folds, so that your leg is really extended and really straight. If it hurts, take support where you need it, but try to let it get that extension. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. The reason I quite like just staying for a few breaths is just to let your body settle into the shape before pushing it further. And then reach your right arm out to the side and your left arm out to the side, but turn your left thumb down so your palms are facing opposite directions. And now reach your right arm up and your left arm down, and then bend the elbows. So you can make like an S shape, so behind, my hands are like this. Or you can start to grab opposite fingers if you have that space. But if you find that you're like rounding like this in this shape, then don't bother. Keep upright And then just grab your elbow at the top instead, so that you can keep upright. And then take 2 breaths here. One more breath. If you have a hold of your fingers and you're not rounding forward, then just stay where you are. If you do not, and you're grabbing your elbow like I am, then release your hands, and then bring your left hand behind you, and then grab a hold of your hand with your right. So you're getting that opposite stretch now. Or you can take your right hand and grab your left elbow from behind you. That's trickier because you'd still need a bit more shoulder space, and not everybody has that. So maybe just hold hands with yourself. One more breath here. And then release your fingers if you have them, whichever variation you're in half of it or in the full shape. And then start to lean back and unravel your legs, please. Lean back into your hands and just let your legs, your knees rather, wipe side to side. Come back to center, straighten your legs out. And then take your other leg, in this case it's my right leg, cross it over your left straight leg, and you can stay there. Extend that straight leg as much as you can. Or maybe grab your ankle and knee and bring your top leg ankle to the opposite hip, so your knee comes down. And that might be enough. Or lean to the left and then bend your left leg to bring your left heel to your right hip. So your heels are at your hips and your knees are bent and stacked. And then again, we'll take a few breaths here just to let this settle into the body. Let this shape soften maybe a little bit. Let this shape find a little bit more ease. And then bring your arms out to a T. Turn your right palm to face the back, so your right thumb is down. And then sweep your left hand up and your right hand down. And then bend the elbows and maybe grab opposite fingers from behind you. And again, if you're rounding, try to resist that round. Try to resist that urge to feel like you're getting deeper in the pose and just come back. Lean back rather. Take your right hand and grab your left elbow with your right hand. And just stay here for 2 more breaths. So we'll do it in 2 parts instead of one big one with the whole shape. Do it in 2 parts and get a little bit out of it, rather than faking it to try to feel like you're getting the whole thing. Faking it sounds really negative. Forcing it. And then release your elbow, bring your right hand around and down. And then bring your left hand to grab the grab the fingers of your right hand to help wrap your right hand around your low back. And then if you have the space, maybe use your left hand to grab the elbow of your right back behind you. Slowly start to release your arms, whichever variation you're in, and then use your hands to help unravel your legs. Lean back. Place your hands behind you, and then just wipe your knees side to side once again. Come back to center. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. I'm going to sit on a pillow for this one. And then take your fingers between your toes. Take your fingers between your toes and enjoy it. And then once your fingers are between those toes, fold forward. Enjoy that space in your feet. It's still a bit cold for sandals, in my opinion. Some people will still just go for it. So let yourself just be part of that, enjoy that exercise of your feet and that warming of your feet. Be one with your feet. It's really easy to get distracted by all the things that might be in your toes or on your feet. There's some fluff on my foot from my socks. And then start to lift yourself upright. Release your fingers from your toes. Gently draw your knees back together. Place your feet on the ground. And then ease yourselves onto your backs. Bring your right knee into your chest once again. And then straighten your left leg. Grab a hold of your right knee with your left hand and just bring it across your body for one last twist. Reach your right arm out away from your right knee. And try to make it as easeful as you can. So we're taking away that push, taking away that strain. Just let yourself melt into this lovely little twist. Two more breaths here. One more breath. And then exhale to roll yourself back on your back. Hug both knees in. Give them a little swirl around. And then straighten out your right leg. Hug your left knee in with your right hand, and then roll your leg across your body into a twist on the other way now. Two more breaths here. One more breath. And then on your exhale, come back to your back. Hug your knees in. Give them one last circle around. Circle them the other way. Squeeze them in, maybe roll a little bit on your back, side to side, or front to back. And then let your feet come down and straighten out the length of your mat. Let your arms come by your sides. Maybe grab a blanket. Or if you have somebody in your home that's not practicing with you, you can get them to tuck you in. That's always nice. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Close your eyes. And as your eyes close and your breath starts to slow down, allow that slowness and that softness and that quiet to start to eclipse the whole of you, your body, your mind, your breath, until you feel completely soft, settled, and at ease. to rest and digest the work you've done. Allow your breath to begin to deepen and lengthen. Start to feel your deep, long breaths reach to the tips of your toes, maybe creating some movements down to the tips of your fingers, maybe inviting some little wiggles and shapes to help you find a bit of awareness, a bit of energy to come back into the day. Maybe lick your lips or roll your tongue over your teeth. And take a deep breath in and stretch your arms overhead. And exhale out your mouth. Another deep yawning breath in. And exhale. Bend your knees one at a time, placing your feet on the ground. And roll onto your right side into the fetal position. Then keep your legs heavy and press yourself up to a comfortable seat. As you find yourself at a comfortable seat, just sit up nice and tall to allow yourself to take a deep breath in through your nose, filling up your belly, your ribs, your chest. Hold for a moment at the top and then slowly exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Take 2 more big breaths like that. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Hold. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Hold at the bottom. 1 more time. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Hold. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Bring your hands together, your heart center over your chest. Take a moment of gratitude for what we have. Technology, modern science to help us be communicating with each other still, to help us find solutions to whatever ails us. Time, we have time to be grateful for. Movement, breath, and each other. And thank you all for sharing your attention and your morning with me. I hope you have a great Saturday. Thank you for coming. See you.